Assalamu alaikum everyone. We're going to start in about 5 minutes. We're just waiting for more people to join.
Leah, unmute, Leah.
No, don't start video.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to today's IQRO Youth Talk for Girls. Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah for giving us the chance to have this blessed day and to tune into today's program. Salawat and salam be to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Thank you to everyone for dialing in, and especially thank you to our speaker, Dr. Ratri. The topic for today's youth talk is multivitamins. And before we start our meeting, let's all open by saying Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The schedule for today is first we'll have a Quran recitation by Sister Naura and the translation by Sister Fatima. and it will be followed by the lecture of Dr. Ratri, and we'll finish up with question and answer session. Now on to Sister Nora for Quran.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm reading first 10 ayahs of Al-Kahf. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا فلعلك باخع نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث أسفا إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. صدق الله العظيم. I'll hand it over to Sister Farma.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise is due to Allah, who has sent down upon his servant the book and has not made therein any deviance. He has made it straight to warn of severe punishment from him and to give good tidings of the believers who do righteous deeds, that they will have a good reward, in which they will remain forever, and to warn those who say Allah has taken a son. They have no knowledge of it, nor had their fathers. Grave is the word that comes out of their mouths. They speak not except a lie. Then perhaps you would kill yourself through grief over them, O Muhammad, if they do not believe in this message, and out of sorrow. Indeed, we have made that which is on the earth adornment for what is, and we may test them, which of them is best indeed. And indeed we will make that which is upon it into a barren ground. Or have you thought that the companions of the cave and the inscription were among our signs of wonder? Mention when the youths retreated to the cave and said, Our Lord, grant us from yourself mercy and prepare for us from our affair right guidance. And now I'll pass it back to the MC.
Jazakallah, Sister Nora and Fatima. So before we start the lecture, I'm going to read you guys the resume of Dr. Ratri. So Dr. Ratri was born in Purwokerto, Central Java, Indonesia, but grew up and lived in Depok. She's currently living in Sydney and accompanying her husband and taking a PhD at UTS. She's passionate on food and decided to take a nutrition major for her bachelor degree at Public Health Faculty, University, Indonesia. Then she continued taking nutrition science for her master and doctorate degree. She works as a lecturer at a public health study program, Faculty of Health Sciences, UIN Sharif Hidayatullah Jakarta, December 2009. And welcome Dr. Ratri to give us insight on the environment.
Thank you, Clara, and all the girls who opened the session, also for the youth team that already prepared for a series of youth lectures. Now I am going to talk about multivitamins, but I will share the screen first and then let's just make it interactive session. Please don't be shy to ask in the middle of the lecture, or if you have any opinion or any ideas that you want to share, please just share it on the chat. On the Zoom chat. Okay, so the subtopics of this multivitamins is about, does multivitamins can make you smart, or does it make you pretty? It will be a short talk maybe, but it can be a short, or it can be a long talk. Depends on whether there is more discussion session or questions from you guys. So I will share this. This is not commercial promotion, but these are some of the multivitamins, or multivitamins product sold in Australia. Most of these multivitamins are sold in Australia, such as Carusa's Kids and Teens Probiotic, Blackmore's multivitamin for teen girls, Dr. Towler. I guess this one is browsed it in US drugstore, but I think similar product also sold in Australia. And also this hormone and PMS support. Here there is hormone and PMS support. This is also one of the type of multivitamin. Which one do you take? Is there any kind of product do you take from this for multivitamins, or is there any similar multivitamin that you take? Either it is daily or weekly or monthly. You can type on the chat, or you want to unmute your microphone, that is all right. And how much familiar are you with this guidance? So I will make it like not assessment, but it is something that I want to know how much is the level of your familiarity or your knowledge to this Australian guide, because there are some Australian guide to healthy eating, whether it is on plate-based, such as that I show you on the screen, or there is also a pyramid food guide that is also Australian guide. But have you familiar with this plate-based guide, or do you see something different, a plate-based Australian guide, but different with the one I showed you? Can I have feedback from you guys on the chat, or you can unmute the microphone? Sorry, I can't see the chat actually when I share the screen. Oh, yes, some of you like very familiar with the plate guide. I see, I have seen vitamin D and omega-3. Okay, so not quite same with the one I showed you on the screen. So This one, why did I ask whether you take one of these multivitamin? I want to have a former knowledge whether multivitamin is familiar, or have you ever exposed to any multivitamin that is sold commercially in Australian drugstore. Like I know that some of you may take vitamin D and omega-3, but not like in the form of multivitamin or probiotic or something that can support your reproductive reproductive hormonal such as PMS symptom. If you have any PMS, and then you can take any supplement, or maybe you want to get taller by getting supplement to maximize your height. Only vitamin D and omega-3, okay? Let me see whether it will the proper vitamins or antioxidant or mineral that you should take on your adolescent period. So, and this Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, well, there are some guidance that pop up on the website if we Google it just by using the Australian Guide Healthy Eating. But this one is the latest. So the latest one said that this one, the vegetables group, should be more intake, should be more consumed than the fruit. So because the fruit here, the fruit groups here, we should consume less than vegetables because they contain fructose, and fructose may induce insulin that if it is consumed in high or over than average daily intake recommendation, it will induce the diabetes mellitus type 2. So that's why the vegetable groups here are more intake, are more, should be consumed more than the fruit groups. So this one is the latest, and you should, and we should remember this one is the guide that we almost in the whole world use the same or quite similar, the same guidance for healthy eating, which the vegetable groups should be more consumed than the fruit groups. So this is kind of fun fact here that I found in Australia. I haven't found yet any fact about a middle school adolescent consumption on the dietary supplements in Australia. More research in US, and also one research I found in South Korea. But in Australian university, at least you guys almost quite similar age with the university, quite similar, of course, not the same exact age group, but quite similar. So in the Australian university population, actually, there are more, especially the female, more female consume the more female consume the dietary supplements. And then the reason of using dietary supplements actually they are not actually unsure about the benefits and risks associated with dietary supplementation, but they consume it either way because they feel that they can have benefit from the commercial claim that the products advertise. So they actually don't realize what is actually the benefits and also risks associated with the dietary supplementation, but they consume it either way because they want to have the same benefit that the advertisement of the dietary supplementation products said. So in the research of nutrition areas, actually, public health officers should ensure the safe practices, because it seems somehow like consuming dietary supplements don't have negative effect, don't have adverse effect, because, well, when we consume dietary supplements, they don't die. If it is somehow the negative effect, it is not making fatal effect. But is there any benefit or is there any risk associated with dietary supplementation? We will find out more about it in this lecture. Somehow that I knew it is somehow like overwhelming commercial advertisement, especially on multivitamin. And also there are more brand commercial multivitamin brand products here in Australia, whether it is imported or whether it is local based. So it makes you like, or it is somehow like a natural, or this is somehow like a common practice to consume dietary supplement. So I want to expose you all to the information that actually nutrition of women and adolescent girls are matters, because when adolescents stunted, especially female are stunted, stunted means the height is lower than the average of population, which I think you all not stunted, but most female adolescents in the world who are stunted can have poor nutrition throughout the life cycle. So this is why the nutrition of women and adolescent girls matters. When female adolescents stunted, they can reduce the physical capacity and fat-free mass, and then it will make, when they are married and become women and then married and have pregnancy, the chance of getting low weight gain is higher among women who were stunted during adolescence, and that woman can have the chance to malnourish. And so the outcome, well, of course, the baby is low birth weight. When the baby is low birth weight, then they will be stunted children, and it is like vicious cycle, which it will become difficult to optimize the height of the children. So the children will become stunted adolescent, and the repeated cycle continue. If you see somehow this poor nutrition throughout life cycle, mostly prevalence among the female adolescents in poor, in low income countries. Yeah, so Australia is not low income countries, but there is so-called the term of hidden hunger, meaning that even though the body mass index or the female adolescents are not stunted, but they may experience micronutrient deficiency. It is called the hidden hunger, when micronutrients are actually required for all metabolic and developmental bodily processes. So when the food plate guidance that I showed you for healthy eating is not doesn't meet, you don't meet that guidance daily, you can require micronutrient deficiency, because all the micronutrients mostly are compiled in vegetables and also fruits, which, survey speaking, the vegetables and fruits intake among female adolescents, even in Australia, is like. So the US Department of Health and Human Services recommend that nutrient needs should be made primarily through consuming foods. Yes, this one is just hit to the point, only consuming food. But if foods doesn't meet if our food consumption doesn't meet the guidance of the healthy eating, it means in certain cases, fortified foods and dietary supplements may be used in providing one or more nutrients that otherwise might be consumed in less than recommended amounts. In Australia, do you know there are fortified foods in Australia? Fortified foods mean the adding of nutrients or micronutrients, especially in the food, such as iron in flour or iodine in salt. But in Australia, the fortified foods is not part of public policy program. So the fortified foods here is part of industrial, just part of industry food program. It is not a public policy program. So when you have, when you look at the Woolies or Coles, maybe you want to have some different brand with the chips you want to take. For example, you usually eat Jack and Jills and maybe you want to take other chips. You can read the food label, and then if you see, like, for example, they add iron or vitamins, it means it is a fortified foods. But it is an industrial based policy, not public policy. So that's why dietary supplements are produced from the pharmaceutical area to meet the lack of micronutrient consumption. So this one should be highlighted, that the dietary supplements and also fortified foods should be consumed in less than recommended amounts. Why it should be consumed in less than recommended amounts? We will see there are some terms of biochemistry speaking here, and it will be almost on the end of PowerPoint. So how does vitamin work and what is vitamin and mineral? I will show you some videos from the YouTube. From the how does vitamin work, let's just point out the what is the water soluble and fat soluble vitamin. And also from the second video, point out for the organic and inorganic molecules and function. So let's see. The two videos here. So how do vitamins work? Point out with the water and fat soluble vitamin here. And we will have post quiz after this session.
A, C, E, D, B, K. No, this isn't some random out-of-order alphabet. These are vitamins. And just like letters build words, they're the building blocks that keep the body running. Vitamins are organic compounds we need to ingest in small amounts to keep functioning. They're the body's builders, defenders, and maintenance workers, helping it to build muscle and bone, make use of nutrients, capture and use energy, and heal wounds. If you need convincing about vitamin value, just consider the plight of olden-day sailors who had no access to vitamin-rich fresh produce. They got scurvy. But vitamin C, abundant in fruits and vegetables, was the simple antidote to this disease. While bacteria, fungi, and plants produce their own vitamins, our bodies can't, so we have to get them from other sources. So how does the body get vitamins from out there into here? That's dependent on the form these compounds take. Vitamins come in two types, lipid-soluble and water-soluble. And the difference between them determines how the body transports and stores vitamins and gets rid of the excess. The water solubles are vitamin C and B complex vitamins that are made up of 8 different types that each do something unique. These are dissolved in the watery parts of fruits, vegetables, and grains, meaning their passage through the body is relatively straightforward. Once inside the system, these foods are digested, and the vitamins within them are taken up directly by the bloodstream. Because blood plasma is water-based, water-soluble vitamins C and B have their transport cut out for them and can move around freely within the body. For lipid-soluble vitamins, dissolved in fat and found in foods like dairy, butter, and oils, this trip into the blood is a little more adventurous. These vitamins make it through the stomach and the intestine, where an acidic substance called bile flows in from the liver, breaking up the fat and preparing it for absorption through the intestinal wall. Because fat-soluble vitamins can't make use of the blood's watery nature, they need something else to move them around. And that comes from proteins that attach to the vitamins and act like couriers, transporting fat solubles into the blood and around the body. So this difference between water or fat-soluble vitamins determines how they get into the blood, but also how they're stored or ejected from the body. The system's ability to circulate water-soluble vitamins in the bloodstream so easily means that most of them can be passed out equally easily via the kidneys. Because of that, most water-soluble vitamins need to be replenished on a daily basis through the food we eat. But fat-soluble vitamins have staying power because they can be packed into the liver and in fat cells. The body treats these parts like a pantry, storing the vitamins there and rationing them out when needed. Meaning we shouldn't overload on this type of vitamin because the body is generally well stocked. Once we've figured the logistics of transport and storage, the vitamins are left to do the work they came here to do in the first place. Some, like many of the B-complex vitamins, make up coenzymes, whose job it is to help enzymes release the energy from food. Other B vitamins then help the body to use that energy. From vitamin C, you get the ability to fight infection and make collagen, a kind of tissue that forms bones and teeth and heals wounds. Vitamin A helps make white blood cells, key in the body's defense, helps shape bones, and improves vision by keeping the cells of the eye in check. Vitamin D gathers calcium and phosphorus so we can make bones. And vitamin E works as an antioxidant, getting rid of elements in the body that can damage cells. Finally, from vitamin K, we score the ability to clot blood, since it helps make the proteins that do this job. Without this vitamin variety, humans face deficiencies that cause a range of problems, like fatigue, nerve damage, heart disorders, or diseases like rickets and scurvy. On the other hand, too much of any vitamin can cause toxicity in the body. So there goes the myth that loading yourself with supplements is a great idea. In reality, it's all about getting the balance right and hitting that vitamin jackpot.
So the point out is the fat-soluble vitamin is the vitamins A, D, E, and K, who are soluble, who needs fat to get to be soluble. So if you take vitamin A, D, E, or K, and your fat is not enough, or in other words, you are skinny, it means the vitamin you take is not enough, it's not sufficiently soluble. While the water-soluble vitamin, which is the B and C, if you take it and you have enough hydration, or if you have overhydration, then it will flush away through your excretion, urine, and also sweat. And the second video, we had known about vitamins, and now it is about minerals. So what are minerals here? Please be mindful about organic or inorganic molecules.
Disease. But what if there's something your body needs that it does not produce that is not organic? Well, those are the things that we call minerals. And of course, the term minerals, it's also used in a geological sense, but if we're talking in terms of biology, that's what we mean. And most of the typical minerals are really elements that you will see on the periodic table. They will be things like phosphorus, and I'm just going to write their element symbol, phosphorus, calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron. And again, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are all essential for your body. As we go further in our study of biology, you will see how phosphorus is useful in molecules like ATP, the energy store. It's even in the backbone of DNA and RNA. We'll see how calcium is useful, not just for your bones, but even for things like muscle contractions. To send signals down neurons, you're going to need your potassium and also sodium. Magnesium, also important for muscle contraction. Iron, this is in your hemoglobin, bonds to the oxygen, allows you to transport oxygen in your bloodstream in red blood cells. So these are all very valuable. And a lot of these foods that we just talked about that contain vitamins, they'll also contain minerals. For example, not only do carrots contain beta-carotene, they also contain potassium, which we mentioned is essential for things like nerve function. Things like milk, it has vitamins like vitamin D, but it also has minerals like calcium, which we talked about is essential for your bones and for muscle function. And so the big picture here is that vitamins and minerals are both things that your body needs. It does not produce itself. And we're going to see them over and over again in biology. So keep a lookout for them. The vitamins, as we go further in our study of biology, you're going to see them as coenzymes, things that help facilitate functions of the cell, help facilitate reactions. And the minerals you're going to see in everything from the powerhouse of the cell, the backbone of DNA. You're going to see it in muscle contraction and how bones are formed. You're going to see it in hemoglobin. You're going to see it in nerve function.
So that is pretty much biology or maybe chemistry. Not too much. I'm figuring out you don't like biology or chemistry, not all of you, but maybe some of you really keen to take on the university about biology or chemistry or something like scientific related. But anyway, if we're talking about vitamins or minerals or multivitamin in general, we have to know basic about vitamin and minerals. And I'm sure that you all familiar with the terminology of vitamin or minerals in schools, but those videos may expose or may only recall about vitamin and mineral and how it works. And then after showing those videos, I will expand what on those videos don't show, or there are no content about this in prior videos. There is a terminology called nutrition dynamics duo and nutrient inhibitor. So in nutrition dynamics duo means these vitamins or this vitamin and mineral work together and they will boost each other molecules, such as vitamin D3 and calcium, sodium and potassium, B12 and folate, zinc and copper, and niacin and tryptophan. Tryptophan is one of the molecule in protein. Meanwhile, there is nutrient inhibitors such as calcium and iron, which means when you take calcium inline or together with iron, they will inhibit each other. You won't get the maximum of iron absorption for your body that you want to have, such as if you take 12 milligram of iron, if you drink it with milk, which milk contain calcium, then the iron will only absorb like 50%. So the supplement of iron you consume is just like wasteless. Or if you eat meat, which meat contain iron, especially red meat contain high iron, and then you eat it with calcium, for example, you eat steak, and then you drink milk, then the iron in the milk will not be absorbed, optimized. So when you take the supplement of vitamin D3, it means you have to take calcium as well, because when you only take D3, the D3 will not be optimally absorbed. As well as when you take sodium is from salt. When you take sodium and potassium is like actually not optimizing together, but when you take sodium or when you take salt, so because mainly of sodium intake is from the salt and potassium mainly from fruits and vegetables. In the intercellular, the sodium will be exerted with potassium. So when the potassium is like, meaning from the fruit and vegetable is like you consume lake of potassium or you consume lake of fruits and vegetables, the potassium cannot take the sodium intracellular enough. So that's why hypertension comes up from the low potassium and high sodium. So this means the dynamics duo of sodium and potassium here is not balanced. When you take B12, it should be with folate. So that's why in nutrition perspective, it is better to take the whole nutrient from food, not to take each nutrient from each supplement. Or when you take one pill or one supplement that contains the whole nutrients here that I show you that having this dynamic duo, will it be more optimum to take multivitamin that contain this dynamic duo? Let me see from the next slide. Do we need extra vitamin and mineral? From the previous slide, it is mentioned that if there is micronutrient deficiency, if there is gap between nutrient that we consume or we intake and the recommended dietary allowance, it means we do need extra vitamin and mineral. But how much is our need? So there is nutrient reference values for Australia and New Zealand. That is in Australia, the recommended dietary allowance that I said is in the different terminology, but it is the same reference that is recommended dietary intakes. Here it is mentioned as RDI. Sorry, technical problem. I want to exit from this. Full screen. Okay, so the recommended dietary intakes mean it is more specific than the food plate-based guidance for healthy eating. The recommended dietary intake here, for example, is for riboflavin. Here I show you riboflavin is B2, vitamin B2. For example, here how to read it is for adolescent girls in the age group of 9 to 13 years, the recommended dietary intake is 0.9 milligram per day. And for girls age group 14 to 18 years, the RDI is 1.1 milligram per day. So this is somehow confusing, and of course, it needs special calculation for dietary intake that we consume, that we know the nutrients for. Is it already does it already meet the need of recommended dietary intake? You can, right? Of course. So that is somehow, in nutrition perspective, we need to eat food as the guidance for healthy eating, just like that. It is simple, just like that. But I want to show you that actually for every energy and every nutrient, including vitamin and mineral, there is so-called recommended dietary intake, and it is just and it is an objective measurement, while the measurement is not for all people. However, if you want to know how much is your recommended dietary intake, you can read this 300 something pages. So what is this for actually? It means that the RDA, or the RDA here is the intake at which the risk of inadequacy is 2% until 3%. So if you consume at least exactly or a bit less or a bit over than the guidance of healthy eating, you won't experience inadequacy, and you won't experience upper level as well. What is upper level? Upper level means the intake is above the recommended dietary allowance, which somehow it makes the risk of adverse effects. It means when you take something that is over than your recommended dietary allowance, you won't be healthy either. Instead, you will suffer for well, the adverse effects means when you experience inadequacy lower than the recommended dietary allowance, the same effect will show when you take above the recommended dietary allowance, especially above the upper level. So that's why you need to know how much recommended dietary allowance you consume every day for your age group and for your gender and for your physical activity. So EAR is the terminology for risk of inadequacy. It is measured for 50% of population, while the RDA, we need to memorize the RDA only, or RDI for Australia. This is the exact standard that we need to know before we want to consume extra vitamin or mineral, so that we won't be getting adverse effects because our extra vitamin and mineral makes us the intake makes us above the upper level. So that's why we need to know the RDI for before getting extra vitamin and mineral. So what we don't know our RDA, we don't want to read the nutrient reference value. That 300 pages, oh my God, that is a lot. So I make you this guidance. If you want to take extra vitamin and mineral, look at the form. Is it multivitamin or single vitamin? According to the references, multivitamin don't have that effect or benefit as in commercial claims. It is still better to take single vitamins or single minerals. So if you observe your own dietary intake, it is lack of B12. It means you are lack of red meat. B12 is high. B12 and iron is high in red meat. You can take B12 and iron, but again, the nutrient dynamics duo, you have to remember when you take iron, then you should take folate as well to get the maximum effect. When you consume vitamin D3, vitamin D3 means you only take the vitamin D3. It is in form of provitamin D. Vitamin D is interesting because we can eat vitamin D. There is no vitamin D in food or in supplement. All of the food and supplement only contain provitamin or vitamin D3. It can be vitamin D if it is activated by the UV. That's why we have to be, not to be tan, no. At least we have to absorb the sunshine in the morning, at least in 7 to 9 a.m. And some research say in afternoon, sun exposed as well, like 4 to 5 p.m. But it all depends on the season and also where you locate. In Sydney or in Darwin, it is different sun exposure, of course. But in Sydney, especially in the summer, where the sun is not too high, it is the maximum moment to absorb UV in order to activate the vitamin D3 we consume. And then we have to look at the form of additional herbs in the supplement, whether the herbs will make allergy or is there any contraindication of the herbs with the food or the other drugs if we consume other drugs. Or is it or will it make you other undesirable effect or adverse effect, such as valeria. Valeria is the herbs for making you relax. If you consume something that contains valeria, while you want to be more focused to your study, it won't it won't make you focus, of course. It will just make you relax. Then you need to know the additional herbs. Sometimes, or most, not most, well, sometimes, all the supplements not only contain nutrients, but also contain herbs in order to maximize the effect. So long story short is, actually, don't waste your money to buy supplement, multivitamin especially. if you want to buy, if you require vitamin or minerals because you are inadequate intake of food, that inadequate food, then take vitamin or minerals. But remember the guidance that I told you. So Allah's gifts are far more graceful because the food we consume is far more safe actually. So when you take iron in red meat, it won't get you upper level because you won't consume 2 kilos of red meat in one day? Of course not. That is why when we consume food, it is far more safe. And take the dietary supplement only if you need. That is the long story short. I think that is pretty much my lecture for today, girls and also youth team. If there is any question, please don't be shy. I will I'll make it, I'll just pass it along through the MC.
Okay, Jazakallah, Dr. Ratri. So this was a very beneficial topic. And now it's time for question and answer. So if you have a question, just type it in the chat.
If there's no question, the quiz will be given after question, I guess.
Can I ask a question? So does it really make you smart?
So, smart, yeah. So does it make you smart or pretty? So smart and pretty means most of the nutrient that form smart or brain is omega-3 and also mostly omega-3 claims that they make you smart because omega-3 is part of the neuron in the brain. But remember, not only omega-3 that works for brain development, because there are more nutrients that are also developed in the brain. When you say it will make you smart, of course, omega-3 won't make you smart, but it will help the development of neuron in the brain. When you want to be smart, you don't only take omega-3, you need to study. When you want to lose your weight, you don't only take protein supplement. You need to work out in order to form the muscle mass more than fat mass. If you want to be pretty, most of the supplements that claim to make pretty is for the health, skin, hair, and nail. They only contain keratin, zinc, and also some of the nutrients that form hair, skin, and nail because they are made from the same keratin, and keratin actually from protein. So when we take supplement, actually it won't boost us to be something more than our ordinary circumstance or condition. It won't boost us, but it will optimize the intake if we are inadequate. When we are sufficient enough, when we have sufficient intake from the food, the extra vitamin and minerals will be excreted, especially the water soluble. It will be excreted immediately, such as vitamin B and C. So if we have enough vitamin B and C from the food, and we take more vitamin B and C from the supplement, the extra will be excreted immediately because we drink, and the water from the drink will flush away through our urine and our sweat. So, and again, like fat-soluble vitamin, A, D, E, and K, as well as omega-3. Omega-3 is actually not a vitamin, but it is one part of a fat. So when you take omega-3, it should be soluble inside the fat. So when skinny people or those who don't have adequate fat percentage, body fat percentage, the vitamin or the mineral that's soluble inside the fat won't be optimized, won't be soluble in optimum because there is no enough fat to make it absorb. It has to be balanced between the extra vitamin and mineral, and also the food and the condition of fat percentage in our body. If those don't meet the balance, it is just wasteless to take the supplement. So it won't boost your brain, it won't boost your pretty. You won't get smart and pretty just by taking the supplements without knowing your own body condition, your food intake, and also the stimulation from physical activity or your learning or your study or learning stimulation. It is not a simple question. It is not a simple answer, Mbak, but the question is simple, but the answer is kind of complicated. I mean, you can get conclusion that we don't need extra vitamin and mineral to get smart or pretty if we have adequate food nutrient from the food. That is actually the simple answer. Ginkgo biloba actually doesn't make us smart, but those herbs, some of the clinical research say it boosts memory, but it doesn't make us smart like genius, but it does boost memory. However, especially in dementia and Alzheimer, the ginkgo biloba should be work together with B12 and also folate. So so the supplements that are sold commercially, actually, they didn't produce it based on the conclusion that is systematically reviewed or meta-analyzed, or they conclude from many randomized clinical trials that is systematically reviewed or analyzed in meta statistic. However, sometimes they only research it in vitro, or in vitro means only based on mouse or rats or other animals, and then they can claim this product or this supplement can boost memory, can prevent heart disease, can make the skin glowing, or the hair yeah, more or the hair is stronger. Some most of the products, most of the supplement products don't are do not make it from the big conclusion. There is no one conclusion about that single supplement or that multivitamin product or that herbs. There are always conflicting results from researchers. So it is not wise if we say that one herb or this multivitamin supplement can make some result. So it is not wise to say that. But there is a research, but there is in vitro research. However, the in vitro research doesn't mean it is will be doesn't mean it will be same result if it is studied among human population. So the conclusion is there is no herbs, there is no multivitamin. Of course, in the research areas, there is no one conclusion that makes that herbs or that multivitamin make some outcome result. So that is my answer. I have been make it dizzy and also it doesn't mean it is overdose, but it doesn't mean it is overdose. It can be dizzy and nausea means that you are allergic to it. Sometimes the allergy response is different person to person. Not always the allergy outcomes is in hives or yeah, just like hives. It's not always like that. Sometimes the dizzy and nausea can be allergic response, but there is no such thing as detox in nutrition perspective. Detox, such as make fruits and vegetable detox, juice, fruits and vegetable juice that can make you detox, or charcoal can make you detox. There is no term of detox in nutrition. When you drink water, actually it will flush your toxin that can be flushed away from the water. When you eat fruit and vegetable, the fiber will flush the toxin inside the large intestine. So it is a detox. It doesn't have to be in multivitamin, but the perspective of detox is from the fiber, from fruit and vegetable, and also the whole grain cereals that will detox, that will flush the toxin, and also the water can flush the toxin. That's it. There is no nutrient that detox your toxin inside your body. No, there is no. Allergic to fish, meaning, is there any food alternatives to have similar benefits of to fish oil? Well, actually, you don't need to. You are allergic to fish and also other seafood. There is plant-based omega-3 if you want to require the omega-3 benefit because you don't eat enough fish, such as flaxseed, chia seed, sesame, that contains omega-3. Those are plant-based and it won't make you allergic. Will vitamin have the same effect in like skincare products? Of course, it will have no same effect like skincare products. Skincare products only make you temporarily have the benefit effect. Temporarily because it is external exposed, while vitamin and minerals have the benefit to absorb inside from within our body. So the effect will be more permanent rather than skincare products. Yep, I think that is pretty much the questions that is showed up on the chat.
Did you say there was a quiz?
Yep, I have quiz. So prepare the Kahoot.
Oh, it's a Kahoot?
Yes, it is Kahoot. So the game pin is 330-253. Inshallah, who is Inshallah? I can give you gift, Inshallah. Khairina. Fatima. How many persons should we wait for this game? 10?
I think 10 is good.
Yeah, 10 is good.
Actually, I think we can get more than 10.
Who is this emoticon?
Is there a prize for the winner?
Yeah.
So everyone should join.
It's already 13 participants. Shall we start?
Farah, are you in?
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah is Boya.
Me.
It's Clara.
It's Clara. Okay, let's start, okay?
Yeah, you can choose that.
There are 5 questions. What are organic molecules called? All right. Next. True or false? Is vitamin E water soluble vitamin? Yeah, 50-50. Next. What is Australian nutrient intake indicator standard? All right. Number 4, we can experience deficiency of vitamin or mineral even consume supplement. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Okay, true or false? Whole food supplement is better than single nutrient? Actually, this is false, yeah? So supplement, not the whole food in the whole form of whole food. So who is the winner? Number 3, Clara. Number 2, me, and number 1 is emoticon. Congratulations. Who is the emoticon here? Anyone wants to claim?
Oh, Asia.
Asia, nice. Good job.
Asia. Okay,
Congratulations.
Nice.
nice. Congratulations.
Good job. Okay, so if no one has any more questions, I have to make an announcement. So on the Friday, 8th of January, there's going to be another Friday night lecture at 7 p.m. with Dr. Muhammad Gadi, who's a general practitioner from Melbourne, and he's going to deliver a lecture to boys and girls about drugs and alcohol issues in young people. So put that in your schedule and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your brothers, sisters, cousins. And now we're reaching the end of the talk, and we hope you enjoyed it and that you learned a lot. Inshallah, you all have a happy and healthy holiday. And let's all close off by saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. And closing dua, Subhanakallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. So see you all on January the 8th. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, beautiful
Thank
MC
you.
and Buratri.
Thank you, God.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.